You want to swing wildly at the internet like you've got the new pill in your hand, but you keep getting dead battered. Find the movement you want with NordVPN. They are our protection against terrifying cyber threats and wide-battered geo-blocks. NordVPN will help you get through any rights restrictions so you can watch all the cricket you want. We aren't always happy with the wickets we're on. Sometimes we need a change. NordVPN can switch your virtual location so your IP address is ready to cash in. So if you need to get around the internet's rules, or I suppose in our case laws, select NordVPN. They can help you watch a game on a cheaper stream in another country. Give NordVPN the ball and let them penetrate all your vast internet issues. Because if you need a VPN, go Nord. Use nordvpn.com/Kimber to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also receive a 20-gigabyte daily data voucher. The link is in the show notes. Protect your computer like a big hitter is coming for you at nordvpn.com/KIMBER right now.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 64 of the Crickpicks podcast. I'm Behram, who you can find at DefMango on Twitter. And with me, I've got Estelle Vasudevan, who you can find at Estelle_Vasudev, the number 1 on Twitter. And then, in stark contrast to Jared Kimber, we've got Varun Alvaconda with us for 2 episodes of Crickpicks, actually. And you can find him literally nowhere. How are you guys?
I've been well, man. How you been?
It's been all right. Can't complain. The ICC events are over. 3 and 18 months. We all need a breather, don't we? Men's, I should mention, because we've had a couple of women's as well, right?
Yeah.
Estelle, life must really be tough for you.
Why?
Because you're actively covering women's cricket as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the WPL just finished as well, right?
Yeah, WPL's done. There's a tri-series coming up also, Sri Lanka, India, New Zealand. So international cricket goes on, right?
Yep. It never stops. And we have this 1 week in between the IPL and we thought we'd get a bit creative. Varun wanted to do a couple of Crickpicks podcasts. And just a briefing for everyone who's new to the Crickpicks podcast. What we do over here is we take any generic cricket category and we draft our top 5 each for that category in a snake-style draft competition. So the pick order goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And sometimes we combine to create teams or draft teams. And this is one of those podcasts. And the task at hand is to draft an all-time test team of retired Asian players. Again, Varun's idea, he was very keen on it. And Estelle has first pick. I've got a couple of guesses on where she could go.
I mean, there are plenty of directions in which I can go, but I'm going with Sachin Tendulkar as my first pick.
First pick?
Middle order.
SRT.
Yeah.
Okay.
SRT as my first pick. Middle order bat. And I think it's going to be tricky as we get into this podcast, those middle order positions. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
bloodbath, right?
bet to go. Yeah, so I think it's a safe bet to go with Sachin right at the top. He's got 13,000 plus runs at number 4, so difficult to go past him in that middle order.
Yeah, I think Jared says, right, he's like, at worst, he's the second greatest batter ever, and at best, he's the greatest batter ever, right? That's the levels we're talking here.
It's kind of unfair on the other guys because, of course, you've got a plethora of batters from Asia at number 4 who could do a job and also average over 50. But Sachin, I mean, he's got the most hundreds in the format at 51. And he's also played the most number of test matches at 200 and the most runs at 15,921. Yeah. His average, Varun, if I'm not wrong, up until like his 175th test was like 57, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
This last few test stories, it declines massively, right?
His last 25 test matches saw his average drop a fair bit. And even after that drop, his overall average, career average after 200 test matches is 53.78. So I don't think many people will have issues with Sachin getting picked. But interesting first pick, I will say that.
Yeah.
There are a few people on the table.
One. No, it is the wrong first pick, definitely.
I mean, Estelle is a first pick specialist, so... If only Jared was here to take the piss out of it.
Come on, you guys. You can't make fun of me for picking Sachin as my number 1 pick,
That's
right?
true.
No, I think comments will support you, but I won't. But yeah. It's me next, right?
Yes, it is you next, Varun.
Okay. Yeah, Imran Khan, man. Easy. I think he is one of the greatest all-rounders ever. Our stat we use all the time, right? Average of 50 with the bat and 19 with the ball for a decade.
Yeah, 81 to 91, I believe. That's when he managed that average or those averages. under 20 and over 50 with the ball and bat respectively.
Yeah.
And that's like 50 plus test matches, right? So it's a
definitely.
very considerable sample size, and he's also a potential captaincy candidate, I suppose, for this
so
team.
I think with Imran Khan, it's going to sound like an insult, but I think he's overrated as a batter and seriously underrated as a bowler. Right? It's almost like the anti-Jack Callis in a way. So I think that's the all-rounder curse, right? Where if you're a really good all-rounder, people will remember you as a good all-rounder, but they don't remember that your primary skill is really good. Because I think Imran Khan has the greatest peak as a bowler ever.
Absolutely. And, I agree with you as far as his batting is concerned because he's got a lot of not outs, right? And that's what makes his overall average come out to 37.69.
Yeah.
But the bowling average is 22.81, right? And if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong over here, Varun, but neither of Waqar or Wasim average below 23. They're both above 23, right? Or 23 on the dot or something like that in test cricket.
Both. Imran Khan has an insanely low average, right? But I still think if you ask a lot of people, like, is he, like, whether he is in the top 10 greatest bowlers, I don't know if they'd name him immediately, but he is, in my opinion, right? I think that's probably which is why I said he's really underrated as a bowler. And again,
plus he gives us insane depth with both bat and ball in
also,
this team. And
we'll talk about it like when another Pakistani bowler might come in, but it's like he didn't actually have as much support in the 80s as we think he does. Because he averages like 18 or 19 and the next best average is 28 in the Pakistan team, right?
This is why we have Varun on the show, because he's great with both raw numbers and adjusted numbers, and those might come up as well. But I don't think a lot of people will have issues with Sachin and Imran going as the first two picks. Yeah. I'm going to go with a fairly obvious one as well. I thought Estelle would go this direction, but since she hasn't, I'll do the honors. My first pick will be Muralitharan. And the test wickets column speaks for itself. 800 test wickets in 133 tests. He's averaging 22.72. He's got 45 fourfers and 67 fifers. He's also got 22 tenfers. And he is unarguably probably the greatest finger spinner that this sport has ever seen, particularly test cricket. And I don't really know what to say. What else to say for Murli?
Yeah, so fun facts about him, right?
as well. So
he does have 50.
He is a phenomenal number 11.
So fun facts about him,
entertaining as hell. Yeah.
So for his first 10 years of his career, he's terrible versus left-handed batters. Which is the most... So I think from 92 to 2002, he averages 19 versus right-handed batters and 43 versus left-handed batters. And from 2003 till retirement, he still averages 19 versus right-handed batters, but his average versus left-handers goes down to 27. So if you actually look at it, part of the reason his record in the 90s doesn't look very impressive is he could not bowl to left-handed batters, right? Because as a Dusra bowler, he just kept spamming it.
No, but that happened later in his career, and Estelle might know more of this because he picked up the Dusra from Saklan and then he honed that skill. Yeah. But what year was it where Murli cracked the Dusra?
I'm not sure, but I know he figures out left-handed bowling just before DRS. Like it's around 2002, 2003, right? That's when he really gets better versus left-handers. Before that, horrible.
I feel like Murli mastered the Dusra in the late 90s. That's my recollection of it. And
late 90s, early 2000s, no?
He speaks about it, right? I've seen a video of Murli actually talk about it. But it's interesting. And first three picks are from three different nations, the three biggest Asian nations historically, and they're pretty straightforward. All right, I can go a fair few directions now with my second pick, but just because I want to pick this cricketer, I'm going to. And my next pick is Wasim Akram. So we'll need a left-handed quick in this team, and he offers heaps of depth with the bat as well. Man has a top score in test cricket of what? Is it 257? Yeah, 257 not out. Versus Zimbabwe. I believe it was in Sheikhupura. So Waz, in how many test matches? 104 test matches, had 414 wickets. He's averaging 23.62 with the ball. He's also averaging 22.64 with the bat. Whether it's the old ball or the new, he's going to be destructive. And his Yorkers were lethal as well. A big-time reverse swing icon that this game has ever seen. And you've paired him up with Imran. So, they'll know how to get the best out of each other, I suppose.
Yeah, so again, with Wasim,
no
right?
arguments, right?
Yeah, definitely. With Wasim, again, before I was talking about how Imran, the other bowler, averaged 28. That was Wasim. It takes him a long time to become an S-tier test bowler. Unlike his ODI career, where he basically starts off as a grade. So you think in the 80s, he averages about 27 or 28 with the ball. which is like you'd say that's decent, but that's not great. And I think it's the 90s where he averages about 20. Right, that's greatness at that point. He figures out the reverse swing, and he's easily easily deserves a place, not just here, but maybe in a World 11 as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do have him in the all-time 11s. The one thing I absolutely love about Wasim is that it was a long career, right? Nearly 20 years. So to remain relative, or not just to remain relevant over 2 decades, but how he evolved. Like late career Wasim did not have a long run-up, and he was probably more lethal than early career Wasim, right? And that goes on to speak volumes of his greatness. So yeah, I mean, again, I could have gone with some more obvious picks, but just so that I could talk about Wasim Akram, I picked him.
Yeah, two great picks.
So Varun, you're up next, and I hope one of you guys is writing these down, because usually that's Jared's job, and he's not around.
Let me just put it in the
The Excel sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in order, because we do have to kind of read that out loud towards the end. Until you do that, Varun can tell us who he's picking up next.
Okay, so we can go a few different directions. I think we've done the first 4 are pretty obvious. The next, I think the order can be a bit messy. But like, I think Behram will know. I love bowlers. So I'm going to go Waqar Younis next.
Oh, that's actually very interesting, bro, because we could have flooded this team with a few all-rounders.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could have fixed things.
You
I don't
still
know if
can,
I
I
would
like
I
that
think.
pick though.
See,
I like that.
Varun is
Waqar
picking
Younis.
Waqar. He's picking Waqar for his second podcast in a row, I feel. Or he's definitely picked Waqar
Yeah,
before.
it is. I picked him for the ODI one as well. Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. I did not have him in my perfect 12.
Yeah. Oh, you did not?
I did not have him in my perfect 12. Yeah. Although I do believe, it's not even about me, but the first 5 years of Waqar Younis' test career are ridiculous, right? It's a peak unlike any other that we've ever seen. But still, I mean, think about all the, all-rounder options you had.
Like, I think we
but
think
you'd
about it
rather have
differently.
that kind of strike bowler, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's also
like
true.
If we're assuming that we're getting all of these players at their peaks, I'd rather have Waqar Younis' bowling.
Oh, yeah.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. And then now we've got 2 toe crush. Well, this Yorker is more toe crushing than Wasim's. It is probably. Would you guys say peak Waqar Younis' Yorker is the best we've ever seen in cricket?
I don't really know because it's hard to say because he has an insane Yorker, but I don't know how effectively he always bowled it because his economy rate was so high. So it's one of those things. If his Yorker was that good, why his economy rate should not be that high, right? So I wonder if it's one of those things where we just remember the times he executes it well, but you forget all the times he misses it.
That's also true. And just to look at his raw
But when he
numbers real
executes
quick-
it is peak cinema.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like no one really caught on to how they are supposed to play reverse swing in that era as well. Like Martin Crowe was an anomaly. He kind of managed. But Waqar ends up with a bowling average of 23.56. So he's actually slightly better than Wasim. And there's, 373 wickets to his name.
Yeah.
I think Waqar was a better ODI bowler. But then when we're talking about pre-injury Waqar, it's a different phenomena altogether, I feel.
I actually think the opposite. I think he's a better test bowler.
Interesting. Okay, then. So we've got three, unarguably 3 of Pakistan's best seamers in this attack already. So hide your bottle caps. And yeah, Estelle, you can go next.
Okay, so I've got 2, and fortunately, I think I can keep avoiding the tough picks. I'll go with Sangha as my second pick.
Oh, man. I see. Usually she leaves Sangha for me, but it's okay. I'll let this one slide.
I really expected you to pick him, but since you haven't, I think again, maybe Dravid has a case to be picked as a number 3. Yunis Khan, perhaps. But
Those are the
between
3
them,
I had
I
as
think
well.
Sangakkara is your perfect kind of number 3. But also, if you do want to add another batter into this lineup, you could. I hate when people do this. I hate when people put him into a 11 and make him keep. But his record is pretty decent as a keeper as well, right? So if we need to add another batter, we can always push him down the order and bring someone in that 3-4 position.
So I remember towards the tail end of Sangha's career, he kind of got found out by Ashwin, right? I remember Ravichandran Ashwin consistently taking his wicket, especially in his last series. But he still ends up with a batting average of 57.4 in Test cricket, and it is the highest batting average amongst all batters in the 10,000 club. which is a stat that I absolutely love about Sangakkara. Talk about his cover drive, the fact that he's a left-handed bat, the fact that he could potentially keep wicket in this team does pip him ahead of Younis and Dravid. So I had Sanga at 3 in my perfect 12. But that's just a question of Varun's biases of whether or not we pick another keeper in this team, right? Because we all know who his favorite cricketer is. But real quick again, on Sanga's numbers as a test bat when he was keeping wicket, he's still averaging 40 plus, which is elite for a wicket keeper, right? Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
I mean,
decent.
If you look at like Asian keepers in particular, you don't really have that many who have made that volume of runs, right? So
How many runs does he make as a keeper?
let me just, I
isn't
had
it
these
like
numbers in front of
3,000 or
me.
4,000?
Yeah, so it's a big enough number,
decent.
3,117.
He has 3,000,
And he's kept
And a double
81 times
100.
in Test cricket.
Yeah.
If you've kept 81 times in Test cricket, you can definitely go into an all-time team as a designated keeper, I feel. Although I know Jared would have issues with this, wouldn't he?
No, I
do too.
I generally hate it, but I think as an option, I would pick him at number 3 and pick a keeper. But if we did want to go for the extra batter, we could always push him down the order and do that.
Fair enough. All right, what's your third pick then, Estelle?
Okay.
Blow
my
our
next
minds.
one is going to be I think I've picked him in a lot of Crickpicks episodes. I'm going with Sehwag to open the batting. Just that impact that he has, right, at the top of the order, the way he goes after bowlers, and it was never, the small innings, right? He always had this like daddy hundreds, the triple hundred, just destroyed bowling attacks and did it in such quick time that games were pulled away from opposition. So I think he's also for me a pretty straightforward pick as one of the openers.
He's definitely a disruptor, Virendra Sehwag, right? And to average nearly 50 in Test cricket, batting the way that he did is, remarkable. I did have him in my perfect 12 as well. And, you talked about the 300s. Isn't it interesting how only 2 batters, I feel, or 3 batters in the history of Test cricket have scored more than 300 twice? It's Chris Gale, Brian Lara, and Virendra Sehwag, if I'm not wrong. And 2 of those guys are like Mad Maxes who would just go out there and completely bash, new ball bowlers. I just find that really, really interesting. And Sehwag, he was the kind of opener who would literally take the game away from you in the first session. So yeah, I think he deserves to be there.
Yeah, I think he's also the best spin basher we've ever had in Test cricket without much competition, right? I think my favorite Sehwag innings is like in Gaul when Ajanta Mendes is basically just bowling the Indian batters out. And Sehwag's like, what is wrong with you guys? He's an off spinner, just smash it. Like, why behaving
Also,
this way, right?
He had this issue early on in his career where he would get pressure or let pressure get the better of him. And then we all know the story of how he would just hum a tune and kind of get himself into the zone. And Sachin at the other end would be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But it worked for him. And it literally like epitomizes Sehwag as a character and cricketer as well. Just that habit of his.
Yeah, again, like when you bat with such a high strike rate, like your bowlers just don't know what to do. It almost it messes with your plans as a team, right? Because the game changes so quickly.
Yep. Anyway, so that is 6 players done. Varun, you're up next again.
I'm going for the second opener, Sunil Gavaskar.
I hate you. Because I really wanted Gavaskar. That would have been an easy pick, right? Because he averages over 50 with the bat. And that literally is all you need to say. Also, he provides a perfect foil to Sehwag. On one end, you've got Sehwag and then you've got Gavaskar.
Yeah, like do you think if Sehwag plays a stupid shot, Gavaskar goes stupid to him?
Yes, of course. And all the while, he'll be like, high elbow.
He's so
I can
perfect,
totally
right?
see that.
Yeah, he's also like, I think Jared mentions it as well. Like his record versus the West Indies is a bit overstated, but his ability to play spin is really underrated, right? So we were looking this up. I think for like a minimum of 1,000 runs versus spin, it's only him and Bradman who average over 100 versus it, right? That is an insanely high average versus spin.
That is
And then we all know the
ridiculously
Ranji
good.
Trophy story where like the left arm finger spinner was bowling really well, so he decides to bat left-handed to tackle it.
Also, he is the second batter or first batter to 10,000 test runs, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the
and
first.
then Border overtook him, if I remember this correctly. But yeah, like just the idea of pairing Sehwag with Sunny Gavaskar is really interesting because you've
Can
got
you imagine the
textbook with
conversations?
textbook with complete unorthodoxy on the other end. So yeah, I like that. And I mean, no surprises that both those guys are opening the innings.
Also,
Now you
like,
guys
he
have
was-
put me.
Sorry, all I was just gonna
Yeah.
say like about Gavaskar. Oh, he wasn't actually as slow as I think people think he was. Because with Boycott, Boycott strikers was about 35. And Gavaskar's was like 42 or 43, which is like Alistair Cook and Pujara, right? He was not that slow for his era. He just sometimes gives off that vibes.
Yeah. All right. So we have got down 7 players. I need to finish
have
up over here.
8 actually.
Oh, do we?
So
We
you've
do
got
have
2.
8?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got
Varun's
2.
3. I've got 3. You've got 2.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so now I'm just hesitant to pick the player that I wanted to pick. And I don't really know where to go anymore. So we have both openers, a number 3 and number 4. And then we've got Imran, Wasim, Waqar, and Murali.
Yeah.
Right? Damn, you guys have really messed this. When you picked Waqar up, it threw everything into the spanner.
We've messed this up. Like, who doesn't have Waqar Younis as an all-time Asian 12
Yeah.
man?
Only you.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm initially going to go to Pakistan again. And whilst this batter is probably, better suited to the number 4 position, I feel like he could do a good enough job at 5 as well. And I personally feel like he might just be the best batter to play for Pakistan in Test cricket ever. So, yeah, let's go Javed Miandad. For the longest time, in his era, he was like right up at the top. He was dominant. He was street smart. He was ridiculously good versus spin. He would nudge the ball away for singles and doubles, and he had a penchant to score daddy hundreds as well. And Miandad actually has a very unique record where throughout his Test career, he never averaged below 50. Right? And some of his last few years in the sport kind of brought his average down, and he still ends up with an average of 52.57 across 124 Test matches. So, at number 5, I feel like he could do a job. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Did you guys have him in your team?
I had him at
I
5.
had Miandad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then I feel good about this. That means
Yeah.
I've done all right.
I don't know-
Okay.
yeah, the
I
comments
think he
might
has a
not.
fair
but
bit of
yeah.
runs at 5 also, right?
Does he? Let's check real quick. I do have his page open. And
Like,
yeah, I mean,
I usually don't mind it like with number 4 batters batting at number 5. I think it's when like I see 11s where like Kumar Sangakkara is batting at 7 and keeping, but I'm like, okay, that's you're just
Yeah,
taking
so-
the piss at that point. Like
he's got 33 innings at number 5. He scored 1,468 runs at 54.37. So, I mean, that's proof enough that he could do a job for us.
there's
over
nothing
there.
about his game that suggests that doesn't suggest he couldn't be a great number 5.
Okay, so since you've picked up a fair few seamers, I feel like what
Just
I
pick
need
a
to do over
keeper.
here. No, I'm going to give us a spin. I'm going to give us a spin bowling all-rounder option, and he need not feature in the starting 12. So it'll be conditions based, and when there is a bit more help for the spinners, I feel like he comes in. And he is a very, very good bat as well. I've picked him in a fair few Crickpicks also. So here goes. Next pick is Ravindra Jadeja. Not
He's
sure.
not retired.
Oh, he's not retired. Of course.
He's
of course,
not,
he's not
yeah.
retired.
No.
All right then.
Go for the other
was
spin bowling
thinking of
around.
the other
Yeah.
one.
I'll go for Ashwin then. Sure.
Yeah.
This makes my job even easier. Wow. What was I thinking picking Ravindra Jadeja? He hasn't retired yet. So, I mean, Ravichandran Ashwin is a candidate for
I liked
second
Ashwin
best.
also.
Yeah. Second best off spinner of all time. I feel like he's right up there in the reckoning. And his numbers are also terrific. 537 wickets in 106 test matches at an average of 24. Of course, you could argue that a lot of the surfaces that he played on aided his bowling. But I also feel that he could have played a lot more. Like 106 test matches for Ashwin seems
Yeah.
pretty less. And I feel like, he gets into the team perhaps just because you have Murali only when, the conditions are favoring spinners. But it's fine. Like, I'm fine with Ashwin at 12th man. And that kind of makes your jobs easier, right? No?
No.
I think I don't know.
doesn't?
Yeah, kind of does, but I think I might go for another seamer then, right?
I wanted to go for
for
an
a
Indian
keeper.
seamer.
No,
No, but I mean,
that's-
we can make Sangha keep. What's the
But we
harm in
don't
that?
want him to keep. We don't.
Do we not want
Varun
him
and
to
I
keep?
don't want him to keep.
if he keeps at 3, I'll allow it.
No, he can't.
That's
keep
my
at
that's my
3.
Didn't he keep at 3 for Sri Lanka for a long time? Am I getting
He
confused?
did
with
keep
ODIs?
it 3, no?
He did.
He
He
did,
did.
right?
He did. He did.
Yeah,
But
so
he
he
didn't. I think wasn't that when he did badly, or did he bat down the order? I can't remember now. Okay. Yeah.
Either way, I don't think we should be stressed about the keeper because we've got Sangha.
No. Let him bat.
Although I wish that I picked the seamer that Varun is
Because-
just about to pick.
Because you could have a guy.
I'm between two seamers, and I don't know which one to go for.
They're both Indian, right? And one of them
No.
can bat.
Both are not
Ooh.
Indian.
Wow.
Oh, no.
That's
One
interesting.
Pakistani
Okay.
and one Indian, both fast bowling all rounder.
Okay, let's hear it, buddy.
So I'm between Imran Khan. I'm between Kapil Dev and Shoaib Akhtar, right? So okay. So which one do I piss off the
I
Indian
think
audience?
Akhtar would be overkill, wouldn't it?
I think
Yeah,
he's
I mean-
Up?
no, but I actually think it's the opposite. I don't know what Kapil Dev brings to this, because if you have Imran and Wasim with the new ball, do you need Kapil? That's my thinking. here.
No, I mean, it's your choice.
Also,
but
are none of
you'd
us
need a
thinking
batter,
along the
right?
lines of Jasprit Bumrah? Because I wanted to pick Bumrah.
He's not retired, man.
Retired.
Why am I confusing this with
Yeah,
non-retired
No,
people?
if he wasn't retired, he's one of my first picks, right?
I came into
Yeah.
this with zero prep, guys. I literally came back from a pro sports shoot, so excuse me. Also, I've literally I have no sleep in my system. I traveled all the way from Lahore directly to Islamabad, broke my fast, went to pro sports, recorded a podcast, and now I'm here with these guys. So I'm sorry.
All right, screw it, I'll go Kapil Dev. Why not?
Excuses.
You know what? I would have gone Kapil as well because he's giving you depth.
Yeah, I wanted to go Shoaib because I think if you look at the Pakistan team in the 2000s, you'll be surprised how many of the wins are like Shoaib Akhtar going nuts, right? For all the talk about their batting, it was him who basically made the difference between them being like distinctly mediocre and decent.
No, I mean, we all remember the Kolkata Test of 99, which unfortunately was a part of the Asian Test Championship. Otherwise, Pakistan would have won that series, right? 2-1.
Yeah.
And he got Dravid and Tendulkar, arguably, you know, if not in their prime, close to their prime, because I feel like Dravid's prime came a bit later. Right?
Also, he averages like 25 on those Pakistani pitches. Like that
Yeah,
is,
man.
I don't know how you average 25 on those pitches. Like no human should
Especially-
be bowling on those.
In Shoaib's era, a lot of those were like the flattest of flat decks.
Yeah, this
So-
basically we
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
the Pakistan prepare the same pitches, and like Abrar Ahmed like basically was hospitalized because of it at some point.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I'm like, and he was averaging 25 on those. And
Yeah.
would you say like he's the fastest bowler ever, pound per pound?
It's between him and Binga.
Yeah.
And then Sean Tate just
You
got
think Shoaib is
Sean Tate got
faster
injured a
consistently?
lot. Yes,
I-
I think Shoaib was quite fast
I
consistently.
think so as well, right? Maybe. I think Brett Lee remained faster for longer, but I don't
Yes.
know.
No, but then
he was
in
as
2011
consistently fast as
In
Shoaib.
2011, when Shoaib played the ODI World Cup game versus Sri Lanka, he was bowling rockets, man. And he wasn't even like in peak fitness. That he was all over the place and he was still bowling rockets. So I don't know. It's a very good question to answer. And he's not even been picked. He picked Kapil Dev, Varun.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
we're not even
let's talk
talking about
Kapil
him.
Dev. All right. I think he's one of India's greatest cricketers ever, right? You'd probably say he's like India's second. Like I think he is India's second greatest cricketer ever, behind Sachin.
I don't know. Dhoni's right up there for me as well.
Sorry, Test cricketer, I meant.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think he's a fantastic bowler. I think he's not like one of the comments was like he's as good as with bowling as Bumrah is. I'm like, no, he's not.
No,
Like,
he's not.
let's not kid ourselves. He's a better cricketer than Bumrah, I think. For Test cricket, but he wasn't as good. And also, I think he's a perfect number 8 in this seat because I think number 7 he probably doesn't always get to bat the way he probably wanted to. But 8, like his chaos batting at 8 would be so invaluable, right?
Yeah,
Especially
no,
after like
absolutely.
Imran Khan bores you to death at a certain
And
point.
then Wasim is coming after him for some more
Yeah.
chaos batting. So that
That's
really
chaos
puts our
batting
team
plus,
in.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
At
it
some point,
puts our
Murli
team
can
in
go
good stead.
nuts as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, didn't he have like 40 of 20 versus Australia at some point? I weirdly remember
He's
that
had
game.
a lot of those cameos,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exposing his
Wasn't
stumps and just
Waqar
having a
the type of
weird crack
player
at it.
who was nuts as well.
Waqar could hold the fort at times.
So, Behram, the most important thing with this is we've left Estelle with the keeper choice.
If she wants to go there, she has every opportunity not to
This-
go there.
Yeah, this is the issue, right? So we've picked Sehwag, Gavaskar, Sachin, Miandad, and Ashwin 6.
No, well,
Imran
Imran
7.
6, Kapil 7. Ashwin right for now is 12th. Wasim is at 8. And then 9 is, 10 is Waqar, 11 is Murli. So you could actually afford another batter over here, Estelle, because we've got enough bowling.
See, I think that's probably where I will go. I mean, I can pick a number 6 or someone who can bat in the middle order, or I can bring in a keeper, right? If we're
Yep.
going Ashwin for, are we definitely going Ashwin as sub?
Yeah, he is sub because he only comes in the mix if it's a Turner, I feel.
Yeah. He probably comes in for Kapil, you'd think, right?
He
Yeah,
comes in for
probably.
Kapil. Yeah, probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can go with a keeper or I can go with a batter. I feel like we're leaving a lot of like, particularly Pakistani batters on the table. Don't you guys?
Are we?
There's so many middle order batters still.
Yeah. A lot of people were by default going to miss out on this team. Even Indian batters, like Dravid misses out.
Yeah, but
I don't
like
know.
if you look at Dravid,
Hipster-
like that,
Yeah.
it's a number 3 pick, right? So it's very unlikely
Yes.
that you
Yeah.
go with him.
Hipster pick would be VVS Lakshman.
That's what I was thinking, but he's not. If you're going number 6, he's not a terrible choice at 6.
He's not a terrible choice, is he?
He's not a better
Yeah.
batter than like Dravid or Younis or
No.
all of them.
I was thinking of Mohammad Younis, actually. Sorry.
Mohammad Yusuf.
Yusuf, sorry.
If I had to pick another Pakistan batter, I'd go Inzi over Yusuf. Yeah, especially for that
But
role.
Inzi at 6.
Yeah, he used to play at that position 5 and 6 towards the tail end of his career, so he could work.
Okay.
Or I don't know, throw in Mahela.
Yeah. I mean,
Like as an Asian
I think
specialist.
between them, Inzi's got a better record, right? So,
You know, the best thing you could do is give us a spin bowling all rounder.
Again, which one?
who?
Vinu
Rangana
Mankad.
Herat.
I don't mind Herod. To be fair, I like Herod.
You know, actually, yeah. If like I thought I was ending up with the 12th, I would have just picked Herat as my 12th.
As a 12th man.
Anyway, yeah. Haven't you seen those crazy catches he takes? Actually, I go with Inzi because then
Okay.
that balances things out, I think, a little bit. Because you might need a bit more batting in this lineup, I feel.
I
You
mean,
need
it's
more
got a lot of
batting?
but we don't need more batting. We can afford more batting, I feel.
Yeah,
in
we
this
can
lineup.
afford. Yeah, sorry.
I think that's
we can
fair.
afford more batting. Like if they played on Pakistani tracks and these bowlers had to bowl like through 2 days, you want someone else to do the batting for you.
Inzi has a very interesting test record, right? Because he would have averaged over 50 had he not played that test match for the World 11 versus Australia. That actually brought his average down because I think he scored like 1 run across 2 innings or something like that, or 2 runs across 2 innings, something like that. But yeah, I mean, look, he can give you some firepower. I feel like that's important over here because you add a bit of dynamism in the team when you add Inzi.
I mean, you know how I feel about his strike rate, Behram.
That's his ODI strike rate, isn't it?
Why would he be batting faster in Test cricket?
He could take spinners on, man. I've seen him do that. Literally charge versus spinners and go up and over, their heads for 6.
Yeah, but so did Sidhu, but I don't think he was a fast-scoring batter.
Who would you go for?
For
It
number
has to be
6.
Dhoni, right? If it's a keeper.
It has to
Yeah.
be, right?
It has to be
Yeah.
Dhoni if you go keeper. It's interesting.
Also,
You
like-
could have gone Dhoni.
Although Moeen Khan has the weirdest record I'd ever seen. I was looking at his record. He averages like 150 versus Warner and Murali and 30 versus every other spinner. He also averages like 60 versus Glenn McGrath.
Wow. That is weird.
I don't know, what a career that was.
Yeah, it is interesting. Extremely hipster pick over here would have been Vinu Mankad, and it would have made Jared proud. Because,
I know we haven't picked any old-timey guys except for Gavaskar.
yeah, damn.
I mean,
And
there's a
even
reason for the
Gavaskar is-
Asian teams were terrible back in the day.
Gavaskar is so mainstream old-timey. It's not even like a Carson Gavri or something, which Jared would have gone with, I guess.
1970s is an old time for Jared, though. That's like yesterday.
Yeah, true. All right, then. So, Estelle, if you could read out the team first in order, and then everyone's individual picks as well, please.
Okay, so the team is Sehwag and Gavaskar to open, Sanga at number 3, Sachin at number 4, Miandad, Inzi, Imran, Kapil Dev, Wasim at 9, Waqar at 10, Murali at 11, and Ashwin as your 12th. Individual picks.
checks out.
I went with Sachin, Sanga, Sehwag, Inzi. Varun went with Imran, Waqar, Gavaskar, and Kapil Dev. Behram went with Murali, Wasim, Miandad, and Ashwin. I think we've
Yeah,
got it
it's
kind of balanced, right?
It's tough. I don't know who wins this.
Between the three of
Everyone's.
us, yeah.
Look,
I should have
Asia has
gone
given
Dhoni.
us so many all-timers. Yeah, Dhoni would have won this for you, actually, I feel.
I don't know if Dhoni,
yeah.
the test batter, is as loved as his
Yeah,
limited
that's-
overs.
That's the issue over here. Dhoni, the test batter, has some question marks. But then again, Estelle was desperate to get a keeper in. So That's
because
what's
it
how we ended
bothers
up
me
here.
so much when people name Sangha as a keeper in like the all-time test.
My biggest pet peeve was Kala's 6 and Sangha 7 keeping. Like, I hate it. Like, not for, at least in Test cricket, it makes sense. I've seen ODI teams where that happens.
Oh.
Oh, that makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are no other keepers really, if you think about it, unless you make
But I
Dravid
guess
keep
if-
ahead of Sangakkara.
But if you look at this team, since there is so much depth with the all-rounders, you could just play the best keeper. Like, forget the batting and play the best
Yeah.
keeper.
Well, like Prasanna
And Dhoni
Jayawardene,
was.
right?
No, but Dhoni was also an insanely good keeper, at least versus spin.
Yeah.
Versus spin,
Or
he
versus
was like
pace, so-
revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yes, but he wasn't bad versus pace either.
It wasn't good versus pace, though. Like, I don't think it was great versus pace.
It's all right.
Prasanna is good all-round, I feel, no?
Yeah.
And well, Sangha has he can be cheeky as well. We know that.
The weight of
Not
all
as
these
cheeky.
expectations.
Yeah, the weight of all those expectations, but not as cheeky with the gloves as Dhoni. Dhoni is like the keeper you think of when you think of cheeky keeping. But anyway, that kind of wraps up this episode of the Crickpicks podcast. Let us know in the comment section who you think won this, because I think we're all pretty close and it's going to be a real tough fight. And also let us know who we missed out on and what sort of 12 would you have come up with had you been in our position. So yeah, shit on us in the comments or praise us. That's up to you. But that's all for today, folks. Just a quick reminder, you can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage. And that can prove to be your one-stop shop for all the work that we do as part of this team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. Have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. And you'll get another Crickpicks episode in the same week. So stay tuned. And yeah, we'll see you soon enough. Goodbye.
It took God and the demon to build international cricket, but don't tell Johnny Best that. 1882, Australia had played one test in England against the god W.G. Grace, and they sucked. So they were playing him again, and it was a tough wicket. But England was in front, so Australia was desperate for a third innings lead. At number 8 was young all-rounder Sammy Jones. After a routine single, he walks down to do some gardening on the pitch. Grace whips off the bails and appeals. The ball wasn't dead, Jones was run out. The Australians were furious. In fact, some of the English players were also furious. But what Grace said went, and the umpires had already given it. Next in was Fred Spofforth. He was known as the demon fast bowler. He was furious, and he let England know exactly what was coming next, which was maiden. There's 12 maidens. I can't count them all. England only needed 85 to win. W.G. Grace made 32. England only 77. That was the test where the Ashes began. Buy my book, Overthrowing Cricket's Empire, on Amazon today.